because cycles don't break until your thinking changes. And that's a hard thing to process. That's a hard thing to walk in. So guys, this is episode 3. I'm glad you guys are doing this. So have you ever had a moment where you said, this is the last time? The last time you react like that. The last time you'll go back to that habit. The last time to let you pull it in. And you meant it? Like really, really meant it. You prayed about it. You felt about it. You were serious. And then a few days later, a week later, maybe even the same day, you're right back in it. And now the thought isn't just, I messed up. Now it's, why do I keep doing this? This is Right Over Coffee. And today we're going to talk about something real. Why we keep going back and how to actually break the cycle. So let's start here. The moment when you circle back to something and it surprises you, I thought I was over this. I haven't struggled with this in a while. Why is it still in me? And it hits your confidence. It makes you question your growth, right? You start thinking, human struggle here. You start thinking, was anything I did real? Did I actually change? Or have I just been managing it? Jeremiah 17:9, the heart is deceitful above all things. Sometimes it's not gone. Sometimes it's just been quiet, like dormant. So grab your book, pause your video. What cycle do you keep revisiting that makes you question your growth? Write it down. Cycles don't just happen. They're triggered. Okay, I have triggering moments anywhere and everywhere. It could be in a feeling, a moment, a conversation, a memory, a TV show. But real human to human here, it sounds like this. I was doing fine until that happened. That conversation just set me off. I didn't even think, I just reacted. I'm a reactor. And before you realize it, you're back in the same pattern. James 1:14, each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. So what situations trigger your patterns? What emotions show up right before that cycle begins? Those are all important things to look at because let's be honest here, guys. Even unhealthy patterns feel familiar because they feel safe. That familiar feels safe. So we ask ourselves, I know this isn't good, but at least I know what to expect. This is how I've always coped. I don't know what I'd do without this. And so you stay, not because it's healthy, but because it's known that you're coping. Proverbs 26:11, like a dog that returns to his vomit is a fool who repeats his folly. That's strong, but it's honest. Honesty, guys, honesty. What are you holding on to because it feels familiar? Not because it's right, but because it feels familiar. So then most cycles are not about just that behavior. It's about that behavior does for you. Okay? So that behavior because it helps me calm down. It distracts me. It numbs everything. Pretty point? And for a moment it works, right? But only for that moment. Like it says in Hebrews 11:25, the fleeting pleasures of sin. The fleeting pleasures of sin. What are you using to cope instead of healing? It's a tough question and it makes you feel very uncomfortable, I'm sure. So this is where repentance comes back in because cycles don't break until your thinking changes. And that's a hard thing to process. That's a hard thing to walk in. You might say to yourself, I don't want this anymore. But deep down, deep down, I'm still need this sometimes. And that's where the tension keeps the cycle alive. Just like it says in Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Okay? What belief is still keeping this cycle alive? What's What is it that's keeping the cycle going? So if you believe identity and struggle, here's the difference. If you believe this is just who I am, sorry guys, you'll never fight it fully. You won't. I have to have a water break. This is where our humanness comes in. I've always been this way. This is just how I react. But in 2 Corinthians 5:17, he isn't a new creation. So that means this may be a pattern, but it's not your identity. Mic drop it. So what have you accepted as who you are that God is calling something else? So again, guys, repentance is not just stopping, it's redirecting. You're just redirecting, okay? Our humanness says, I stopped for a while, but I didn't replace it with anything. And so you drift back into that habit. You drift back into that behavior. Luke 11:24, paraphrased, of course, an empty space gets filled again, right? So what are you replacing your old patterns with? It's a hard question, guys. Cycles grow in secrecy. And our human emotion, our human moments, our humanness, I don't want anyone to know. I'll deal with it privately. But isolation, it only fills repetition. James 5:16, confess, pray that you may be healed. Who have you allowed into your process? Who have you allowed into your process of healing? Because of Jesus Christ, we all know you are not disqualified. You're not. But the human struggle in it is I keep failing. So what's the point? Nothing's going to change. I'm too old. But grace says, keep coming back. Just like it says in Philippians 1:6, he who's began a good work will bring it to completion. Guys, are you quitting too soon in your process? Are you letting go? Are you just whatever? That's it. I'm done. You're giving up on yourself. Don't give up. Don't give up. Freedom doesn't start big. It starts with one different choice. What if I can't change everything? Simple human thought. You don't have to. Just change your next step. That's all we're asking. Galatians 6:9. Don't grow weary. Just take a step. Take a step. Take a step. Take a step. So hear this. You're not crazy for struggling. You're not weak for repeating. You're not disqualified because it's taking time. But you are responsible for what you do next. Because cycles don't break when you feel bad. They break when you, the person watching, chooses differently, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's unfamiliar, and even when it's slow. And listen, you may fall again. We are humans. But that doesn't mean you don't start over. It means you keep walking forward with awareness, with intention, with God, because the goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. The goal is transformation. The goal is becoming someone who no longer needs what once held them. And that, my friend, that is what's possible for you. So this has been Right Over Coffee, where we walk through the hard things honestly and together. And remind you, you don't have to do this alone, guys. And if this spoke to you, don't just hear it, apply it. And you may need to send it to somebody else or keep it for yourself. And if you need somebody to walk alongside you, go to elizabethk.green.com. elizabethkgreen.com. I'll meet you in part 4 where we're going to talk about discipline, intention, and what it actually looks like to choose differently. Hey, guys, you're not alone. But if you love this episode, this was brought to you by Means by Miriam, where sometimes in this series you're carrying things heavy, you just don't feel it, you're like, ugh. And sometimes The first step to healing is simply showing up and slowing down. Manes by Miriam is more than just hair. It's a space to reset, breathe, and reminded you're still worthy. 682-417-4260. She is in Kennedale, Texas. Take that step. You deserve it. And listen, again, guys, if you need somebody to walk alongside you, come to ElizabethKGreen.com. I offer coaching, personal and grief coaching. I'd love to walk alongside with you. I don't want you to be alone. Bye, friends.